Hello, good morning, and welcome to On the Spot 947, where we sit down, we have a little tete a tete with some of the biggest and talented names in the arts, and equally those who are on their artistic journey in the hopes of influencing and changing the world. Now, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. We know this because science has taught us this, but what our emotions has taught us is that when we see and when we smell things or we taste things, or in this case, when we hear something that we like, we are drawn to it over and over again. Just like our guest for today, who has bewitched listeners with her own sound back in 2016, with a song that's entitled Again, and the year after that with New York and Back, as well as Run Run in 2017. Now, since then, they've been singing and performing alongside the likes of Mayonnaise, Hale, Ben and Ben, Rico Blanco, and many more. Now, fast forward to last year when they released their first album entitled Daybreak, which spawned more hits in their roster like Keeping Me Up and Let Go. And with their star on the rise and climbing, there is no reason for them to let go and for you not to love their music any less. So let's welcome Leanne and Naara to On the Spot 947. Yay! They're there.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Leanne. Good morning, Naara, and welcome to
Good
On the Spot.
morning.
So glad you could
Thank
join us
you.
today.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having us.
Before we begin, why don't you pat yourselves on the back for a job well done? Now we usually pat ourselves on a Friday for having made it thus far into the working week, but with what you both have accomplished in such a short time, definitely deserves a congratulatory pat and an applause. So
Thank you.
before we discuss the new stuff, I always like to have a little bit of a history lesson for our viewers. Could you tell us how you both met and formed this musical partnership?
What's up?
We, Back in 2012, we met in college. We were
Okay.
blockmates. We took performing arts, and then
Which
I asked
college was this?
from Assumption College.
Okay.
Yeah, and then from there, we started singing together. I asked Leah to sing, and then I just harmonized sa voice niya. And then after that, we got invited to every org event
Hmm.
until we graduated. Then there, before we graduated, we got signed with Warner Music Philippines, and Leanne and Naara was
Right.
born.
Nice. 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 Before you graduated, wow, that was like you
Mm.
guys started early. At one point, was there ever a time to give you guys a different name from the names that you're using now? I mean, did you think of giving yourselves a different duo name?
We did try to think of other names, but it's kind of, they just sound weird. So we just opted to
Mm.
go with our original names, just to give also, like, I don't know, just to bring out the individuality of Leanne and
Like
Naara.
what
So
kind of names did you guys come up with? If
there's
you don't mind
what we
sharing.
call each other. We have a pet name. We call each other Tuck, as in Tuck. So one of the names that came up was Tuck the Tucks or Tucks, but then
The
it
Uh-huh.
talk.
sounds
The
so
talk.
it sounds so uncool. So we were like, let's just go
Although
with
there's an
Leanne and
OPM vocal group that's called the Tux back in the day.
Oh yeah?
So, yeah, TUX. So
Oh,
The tuxedo.
oh.
yes, Trexia, yeah. So medyo may katunog, but we're glad that you
Oo
guys
nga.
stuck it out with Leanne and Nara, and we wouldn't have it any other way. In any group endeavor, there will be roles that would either be assigned to you or organically would be more natural for you to take on. Like, was there any of that sort of earlier on, like role assignment, like whoever likes lyrics more should do more of the lyrics, or whoever likes chord progression should do melody more?
I guess it's funny because it's not even just the music. Like, let's say I do the most of the writing, and
Okay.
Ara takes care of the other things. Like, she also takes care of music, but at the same time, she's the best when it comes to dealing with people. Like, really making relationships, building relationships with other people, and because
Mhm.
she's so approachable. And I'm not saying I'm not, but some people say I'm not. But it's Nara. She's so easy to talk to, and I guess it's important also when when you're doing gigs and when you're in the industry. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
I think that's
It's
one of the things.
something that's organic, and wherever that you are, that you feel most comfortable in, then that should be the role that you assign to yourself
Uh-huh.
in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes the roles also grow in time, and I'm sure they also overlap.
Mm.
So it's okay as well to have things not be set in stone early on and allow
Yeah.
yourself some room for change. And speaking of change, looking back, I'm sure your musicality has also changed since you first started music. Your tastes may have also gone a little bit of overhauling, that is to borrow some common jargon. But what changes have you seen that the duo has undergone or had to deal since you guys first began? Like, for example, like was there ever any prejudice about you guys being so young when you started? Or because the duo is comprised of two young women, maybe the kind of music that you do will just be limited to a female fan base or something like that. Did you ever have to go through anything like that?
Well, at first our producer, Sir Jonathan Ong, asked us what kind of music do you want to release? Do you want it to be
Mhm.
mainstream or like a more indie sound?
Yeah.
So back then we decided to go with the indie sounding music. So we released again and then New York and back, and then song after song. Most of the genres of those songs were like easy listening, coffee music, and then
Mhm.
after how many years we like agreed to go with more electronic pop sound.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
When we
That's right.
released our album Daybreak, most of it were recorded and produced with more, let's call this, electronic sound.
Yeah.
Elements.
More
Yeah.
pop. Yeah, the elements
The
were more
earlier
Yeah.
songs
More
electronic.
pop
had that
elements.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
more
Mm,
acoustic sounding. So that's what
yeah.
you said. Coffee music.
Yeah. Coffee music.
What is indie music for you? Does it? I mean, automatically when you hear something, oh, I know that's mainstream, or oh, I know that's indie. How would you define indie music?
I think indie for me would be more free form kind of writing and music. Nah,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Mm,
really try to fit into a certain structure that most mainstream pop songs have. And
mm,
Mhm.
so,
mm.
yeah, so I guess
Okay. So
that's
like
what
if you
indie
want to
is.
start with the chorus and not with the verse, that's okay,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. Like you can
Again
really do
was
what you want.
produced that way. Mm.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, was there ever a song that started with the bridge first and tried to bridge the chorus and the verse? Parang,
Ang hirap
parang
naman.
mahirap na yata yung ganyan, ano? Oh boy. Let's see who's joining us this morning. Hello, Chrislyn Villarosa. Good morning, and also
Hello.
to Chrissy Poo. Okay. Hello, Chrissy. Good morning. And um, next, let's move on to your past singles, specifically for Destination, Run Run, and Who's Gonna Love You. I don't know if anyone has told you that, but those three songs gave me the D Sound vibe. Um,
Ah,
would they be
Gold.
one of your musical influences? Because I love D Sound. So when I first heard this, like, oh my God, give it to D Sound. If they sound like D Sound, it's like, okay, I'm in. I'm in. You guys go together.
it's actually very interesting. We do love D sound, but when we wrote Run Run, I don't think we were even like we were thinking D sound, right? Or maybe
Mm,
it was Sir
yeah.
John that did that. But
Yeah,
we've
it's
been
Sir John.
listening to D sound ever since. But I
Yeah.
guess it just naturally came out, and all these influences, and D sound's definitely one of them.
Yeah,
And
and
all
I
our
love
friends
it.
love D sound.
Has anyone told you that, or
Yeah, a lot of our friends who also listen to D sound.
Mm,
yeah, yay? O kulang na
which is
lang
a
ay
good
bigay
thing,
mo
I think.
D-Sound mismo. Para may collaboration kayo, di ba? D-Sound with Leanne and Naara. Oh my goodness, that will just make it for me. Dali,
Gosh,
dali.
sweet.
Do it na. Sabi, oh, Jonathan,
Wait, let me contact.
galit. Eh, kilala naman kay D-Sound. I take it that D-Sound is not just one of the musical influences that you had growing up. Um, would the musical influences that you guys have would be more of the kind of music that your parents listened to, or you just simply gravitated to music that spoke to you?
But it's interesting because it's changed throughout the years. Like me and Naara, used to listen to the records that my dad and my mom used to play, and Naara listened to
Mm.
what her brothers listened to. So more of the bands, and I more of the jazz. And then when we were in college, more of the bands like indie bands, Phoenix. We would cover a lot of
Yeah, the
Phoenix and all
trap.
these right. And so I think it's what's coming out now when we're writing is sort of a mix of all of these genres that we grew up with, and
Mm-hmm.
they're really iba from different. I know, but it's interesting because yeah, it's not just I know. There's R
Well,
and B, there's like indie, yeah,
mhm. Well, when you do write, do you sometimes check yourself and say, "Oh wait, this is sounding too similar to this artist," or I should like scale
yeah,
back and do something else,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
it's okay to have that influence because at least it's reflective of the kind of the influences that basically peppered throughout your music. Do you feel that you have to constantly dial back down if you sound too similar to one artist?
Yes.
yes, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yes. I think it's important that um, the authenticity still shines out, and it doesn't sound like a copy of the artist that you listen to. It still has to have your own like flavor to it or something,
Mm-hmm.
Right,
which is
right.
kind of hard to do. So you have to really be careful with because you don't really notice it; it just comes out, and it's not until you let other people listen to it that they tell you, "Oh, it kind of sounds like this, kind of sounds like that." But that's I don't think there's anything wrong with that too. But yeah, we just try to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean
Because
every
there are a
every
lot of
artist.
songs. There are a lot of songs, so it's hard to um uh like limit yourself
Be
from
yeah,
doing or
be
like
totally
creating new music.
original.
Yeah.
There's no
Right,
such
right.
thing as original.
And then there's so many notes in the piano as well. So there will be some notes that
Yeah,
will just be sounding similar. So no one
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
can no one can copyright a transposition. No one can copyright a chord
Yes.
progression. That's how it
yeah,
is.
Yeah.
exactly.
That's how music theory is. So if anyone attempts to copy music theory, then mahirap na yan. um, and I guess that's how songs have an effect on people. They speak to people in different ways. Some may not
hmm
like it. Some would love it, and others would take a little time before they warm up to you. So let's
Yeah.
say for those who don't warm up to the kind of music that you guys do, or criticize you for sounding too similar to this and that, do you tap into that criticism and let it fuel you creatively, or sometimes it will also get the best of you and put you in a rut sometimes?
Well, I guess um, I just I've come to accept that we're not for everyone, and I think that's not a bad thing. And I don't try like I one thing that I try to avoid is to just please everyone because then I won't be
Yeah.
true to what I'm doing and to the music that I know I love. So I just just live your truth, live your truth, and if there are people who will appreciate it, and we're grateful for them, but we're not gonna try and get everyone on it and force them to like us.
Right,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the
because
day, it's still yeah,
everything has to be organic. It's either
yeah,
if you do,
yeah,
then some
yeah,
people will like what you do, some people will not, and it's
yeah,
not your job to win them over, but it's your job to, as you said, speak your truth, or in your case,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
write your truth, or sing your
yeah,
truth,
yeah.
and whatever
That's nice.
happens, then whatever happens, if you affect people, then that's a bonus. And
Yeah.
and you feel that you've done your job right, and you validated yourself as artists. On the subject of validation, where do you feel this validation come from? Does it come from you when you write your songs, or does it come from other people when they say that I've listened to your song and I like it? I've listened to Daybreak, and has inspired me to do stuff. So where do you think validation comes from for you as an artist?
I think there's a balance between like what people say towards your music or towards us as Leanne and Naara, and to on how we know ourselves. So if if people will tell na, oh, ang ganda ng music nyo, I love it, then it's thank you, thank you. But I think um what's important is that the trust that we have
Mm-hmm.
to our music. So I think that's what that's where we get our validation.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And we always say,
Yeah.
like, one of the things that we always say is quality over quantity. So
Quantity.
it doesn't really matter to us how many people come to us and say, that, oh, we love your music. But if it's only
Mm.
just like a group of like 5 people that says,
That's,
hey,
that's
I
okay.
feel really moved. I feel really moved. And I think your
Mm.
music spoke to me. Like, that's enough validation for us. If it's, if it I mean, yeah, if it inspires other people.
Yeah. For as
Right.
long as there are people who believe in us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel that that kind of validation is like a cycle. I mean, you get statements like that, people comment on your music, and then you get all fired up, you get inspired, and then you write more music that will do the same thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's a never-ending
Yeah.
cycle, and that really is, I guess, the job of an
Mhm.
artist. And
Yeah.
I mentioned being in a rut, which is what a lot of us felt when the pandemic first hit us last year, and yet you were
Mhm.
able to release your first album called Daybreak, which was last year.
Yeah.
First of all, I was wondering, why did you name it Daybreak? Daybreak, and how challenging was that to have made and released an album during a year that has proven to be so debilitating for a lot of us?
Oh, why did we call it Daybreak? Okay,
Why did you
because
call it Daybreak?
a lot of these songs that are included in the actually all of them are sort of thoughts that you have at night, and conversations that you have in your head, like introspective, that you're not even able to tell the person you're supposed to tell them to. So um and it these are usually the things that keep you up at night.
Mm-hmm.
So daybreak till daybreak, like break of dawn, daybreak. So daybreak was
Mm.
like the simplest name that we can come up with,
You can come up.
and that
Okay.
that sums up the whole feeling of the album. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do
Listening to the cuts on the album, it does kind of like feel like, I mean, most of the songs that you have there are, again, very D sound sounding, and they're very happy. They generate positive vibes. And when is it do you feel the most positive at the time of the day? Is when you start your day, diba? So it's very apt also that you call it
Yeah,
daybreak.
yeah.
Mm.
It's like a new day.
Yeah, exactly. um, the album, as I said, has 8 cuts, and most of the albums would usually have 10. So, was there ever this a lingering decisions like dalawa na lang para maging 10? Did you ever debate on that?
Well, actually, our management, we came to a point now. Why not make it more than 8 and make it a full length album, like
See,
13 songs, 16 songs? Where it's hard to like force yourself to write a song just to release what more than 8
More.
songs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think
Yun yung pinaka,
8 is a good number.
yeah.
yeah, it's my lucky
That's
number.
Leon's number, yeah. So,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at one point there was, I mean, personally for me, there was this internal debate na parang, why do some artists release an album that's made of 10 songs, mga iba 8? So that means if they release it at 8, it's still considered an album, but
mhm.
even if the standard number is 10, you still call it an album even if it's 8 songs. But anything less than 8, like if it's 5,
It's an
An
EP.
EP.
it's an
It's
EP
an
na.
EP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
parang ganon. Right. They were all written by you guys, I assume, or did you have collaborators as well when you wrote the songs in the album?
Some of the songs we collaborated with our producer, Brian Lozo. Yeah. Yeah, some
And
of it.
also a couple of the songs were written in, because we went to Sweden for this songwriting camp, and a
Oh
couple of
yeah.
our songs were
Oh
written
yeah.
there.
Oh wow!
Let
So
Go
nice.
and Keeping Me Up.
Keeping
Actually, the Keeping Me Up track is the one that we recorded there. So we just got it from the guys
Wow,
there.
you went to Sweden.
And yeah,
How you did you go to Sweden the year before the pandemic or
yeah, 2019
2019?
October.
Okay, right. Because there's no traveling in
October.
2020. So yeah, yeah. Um,
October.
how different was it to record there as compared to recording over here?
They work very fast. Like they think very fast. These Swedes, I don't know how they do it. I don't know if it's in the water that they drink, but and I don't know. Like
Probably.
They're so yeah, right? Like why is it so is it innate in them? Like there's so many great producers from Sweden and so many hits come from Sweden.
Yeah.
And we got to witness all of that. So when we went there, it was like 3 days of camp, and in those 3 days, we were to write one song for each day.
Per day.
So
Wow, one song for
yeah,
each day. Oh my goodness.
yeah, and so ang bilis gumawa ng beat. Na-produce na buong song in one day. Tapos buo na siya. Like parang rough draft lang yun, but you can release it na. Parang ganun. They're so amazing. And they're also very open. Yeah, they're also very open. Yeah.
Nag-uwi ka ba ng tubig?
Ay, kwento mo tas yung tubig.
Funny thing kasi after the camp we stayed for 2 more days. So we transferred from this hotel to this hotel. Tapos nung kami na lang ni Lian, ang meron lang sa room was a pitcher and 2 glasses. Tapos sabi ko, bakit di siya umiinom? hindi siya sure. And may isa pa, hindi siya sure na malinis yung tap water.
Yeah.
Diba kasi we get the water from the faucet to CR. Doon lang kami umiinom. Tapos may isa
Yeah, but
pa.
you said pala it's nice. I mean, it's okay to drink
it's
from
clean.
there.
Yeah. And one
Anyway,
more,
yun. I didn't know.
during the camp, like yung series na yun, meron kasi silang sparkling water. So parang ako, every time iinom ko ng tubig, kukuha ko sa ref, and then iniinom ko. Eh, hindi ko gusto yung lasa kasi medyo bitter siya. Para siyang Sprite na natunaw yung ice. Tapos na-realize ko, sabi ko, nga pala, tap water nga pala dito. So, nung last day na nung camp ko, na-realize na, pwede nga pala ako uminom from the tap. So, wala na.
But yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
funny
envious
story.
when other countries are able to do that. I mean, it's that clean. Like when I went to Korea, and they were just serving us tap water, I just felt, wow, iba yung linis ng tubig. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, give me more. Gusto ko mag-uwi. Yeah. Given that you've also released singles before releasing Daybreak, did you feel that it was easier to do that because you have experiences of releasing singles way before that? Parang, mani-manin lang yung album kasi nakapag-single na tayo dati.
Actually, baliktad. Kasi pressure. Kasi first time namin na magkaroon ng album kasi nga puro singles lang before. And we were like, we didn't know how to do it. Na, how do we do it? Dapat ba yung pagkakasunod-sunod? Ganyan.
Yeah.
And one of the longest things, one of the things that we really were, that was very important for us was yung track list. Because we had a lot of songs. And sobrang talagang pinili namin ng mabuti kung alin yung mapupunta dun sa album. So, a lot of really good songs didn't make it kasi it just didn't fit the narrative. But
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, there's always a second album and a third.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it didn't make the cut now. Doesn't mean it will never make the cut.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
that's
right,
really,
yeah.
that's really how you base putting the songs and structuring it to fit into the theme of the album. Now, speaking of single, dramatic pause. Kinabahan ka ba? No, I'm not going to ask about your personal lives.
This song is the song that didn't make the cut.
Is personal, so that is out of the line of questioning for me. But you do have a single out. That's called Anticipation. So
talking about making the cut. This is supposed to be in the album, but never mind.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh. So why didn't you? Sabagay, if you put 8, di naging 9 na, di kulang na lang nag-10 ka na. So, ayan na naman, sasabihan na naman kayo, oh, bakit hindi nyo na sinagot
Isa
na?
pa.
Isa na lang eh. Isa na lang, di niyo pa.
Oo. Isa na lang. It's just like, it's like giving your pet that last bit of morsel for that, para ubos na yung food ko for the day. Yun na lang, that small chunk of meat, hindi pa binigay. But we're glad that, you eventually still released it as a single. How
Yeah.
did you come to write the song?
It was written in 2018, a very long time ago, and I was very, very young, so the writing's kind of different. But I was listening to a lot of Anderson back then. I just discovered him, and I
Yeah.
really got hooked on his music, and I like his groove and how the lyrics are he's so percussive when he sings. So I wanted to come up with something like inspired by that. So Anticipation was born, and this was produced by August Trigo. So if you wanna give us a little background.
Yeah. I
Um,
he's also Filipino, right?
yes, Filipino-Canadian producer who
Yeah.
produced Justin Bieber, BTS, Kehlani, more popular famous artists with
Wow.
with
You
hits.
guys are in with August.
Yes, it's
So,
an honor that we got to work with him, and very easy to talk to. Dali katrabaho. Galing din ng utak. Ang bilis din.
for sure. I
Ang
mean, if
bilis.
you get to work with the likes of Bieber and BTS and all other
Yeah.
best-selling artists, you have to really up your game.
Yeah.
And kailangan tapatan mo, as they say. When you do write, I wonder which comes first. Does the melody come in first, or do the lyrics come in first?
I don't think I ever answered this question right, but because it varies. It varies. Sometimes the lyrics first, but then I think it's easiest when it's sabay.
Yeah.
Sabay.
Yeah.
Like you also think of the melody na as you write the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, it's a component that feeds off each other. Sometimes you have to
Yeah.
shorten the lyric in order to fit the
Yeah.
melody, and sometimes you
Yeah.
have to add a little bit of a half of a bar of melody because it just doesn't sit well with the words that you're trying to say. Parang ganon. So
Exactly.
there really has to be some sort of adjustment in the process. Trixie Jade says good morning, as well
Good
as
morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hale. There's also Jasmine Ariel says good morning to both you, Leanne and Naara.
Hey,
Good
Jasmine.
morning.
Kel Marcelo also says a gloomy morning to you guys.
Yeah,
it
it is a bit
Yeah, it's
gloomy.
gloomy.
Yeah, it rained earlier on, so I'm okay with that. Perfect. That would be the perfect time to get a
Mellow.
Nolly as well. Nolly is in New York, Richmond.
Mm.
Ridgewood.
Wow.
So, yeah, thank you for tuning in, Nolly, and keeping us company today on the Spot 947. There's also Leanna Moira.
Hi,
de Guzman.
Leanna.
Leanna and Naar. Hi, Leanna. Leanna Moira.
Yeah, Leanna Moira. Right. She says hello.
Hello.
Ang daming letter U. Ayan. Where was the oddest place for you guys to have written a song?
What?
The
Hardest
place,
place.
the hardest place to have written
The
a song.
hardest place
Yeah,
to write a song.
yeah, for you.
I guess more in this position when I'm happy. I can't write a song.
Ay talaga.
Yeah.
Right. Sabagay, it's hard to do that, to tap into another form of emotion when you're not feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Have you written a song or started a song while driving?
I don't drive.
Oh, you don't drive.
Probably Naara.
For me, di pa naman.
Wala pa. Okay.
Wala pa.
That would be a challenging thing to do. How about
It's
the
hard
most?
to multitask when you drive.
Yeah. It does. But if you are a multitasker, you have to live up to your name. Na kahit anong iba to sa'yo, you can do it. You can like grow extra set of arms and do that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
Yeah.
drive and
I
talk to
can.
someone and write a song at the same time. Where was the most fun place to write?
The most fun.
In Sweden.
My
Yeah,
bedroom.
in that camp.
In Sweden. Keeping me up. Yeah, we had
And
fun
that,
writing
that's
that
too
song.
big. So yeah, because of the water. Um,
Because of that.
is Sweden the only country that does that, or I'm sure that there will be other writing camps as well. But why Sweden was the one that you chose? I was wondering.
Oh, it was I think an annual thing that Warner Music does for its artists. So every
Okay,
year they send out artists. I'm not sure if it's always Sweden. I think it varies then. But yeah,
Yeah.
that year it was Sweden.
nice,
Oh
nice.
yeah.
Well, yeah, lucky you that you guys get to travel at the same time, be productive at the same
Mm-hmm.
time. If money is not an option, and also if there's no COVID, where in the world do you think you want to go, and you think it would inspire you to write a song?
Paris.
Yeah,
Paris.
maybe in
Sorry,
Paris.
what was
I
it?
wanna
Paris.
I wanna go
Okay, Paris.
Paris.
Yes.
Beach Paris.
I wanna write
Paris.
in Iceland.
Wow!
Whoa, in Reykjavik.
Wow!
I don't know.
Oh, that's how you
Basta in
pronounce
Iceland.
Nice.
yeah. Basta in Iceland. That's what happened.
You know,
Iceland.
yun.
Oh, in
Somewhere
an
cold
igloo. In an igloo.
in an igloo. Yeah, I wonder what kind of song you get to write over there. Would it be happy or would it be sappy?
Happy maybe.
Probably sappy. Oh boy! But you know what? Again, congratulations to Anticipation.
Thank
Also,
Thank
congratulations
you.
you
to
po.
Daybreak. I know that this is not the only single that you guys are going to be releasing this year. Heck, you guys can release one album every year, and we're going to be listening to it, all year round.
Oh
For
my.
who would want to follow you guys on social media, where can they find you or bug you or even ask you questions about songwriting?
Yeah, we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And we're on Discord.
Ah,
Yes.
okay.
Discord. So if you guys have Discord, you can join our server and we can chat there and talk about stuff.
How do they
Nice.
follow us? Do they just look up Leanne and Naara?
We posted the link on our
Okay.
Facebook. So
Okay.
you can just click it and then join the
Good.
server. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Anticipation is on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. You can listen to it there.
All
Search
right.
for Leanne and
And
Naara.
that's what I've been doing when I was driving on the way here. It's like really immersing, myself into the stuff that you guys write. And I'm so glad and happy that I got to talk to you today and meet you. And I wish you both, more success, more songwriting
you.
time, more
you po.
collaborations with other artists, whether they be Filipino or international. As long as OPM is heard all around the world,
Yep. Yep.
that is really the goal, to share our music to everyone else. And with technology, it's a good thing that we're able to do that now.
Yeah.
And anyone who says that they have not heard how OPM is, then you guys can clearly be at the forefront of this and and show the world that this is how we sound like, this is how we do music, and we can't wait to do more.
Yeah. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, Leanne,
Thank
Naara.
you.
Let's see
Take
what
care.
Jam Rances, Mipahabol. Yeah, si Jam.
Hi, Ate Jam.
Ate Jam.
Just before we sign off. So yeah, echoing everyone's sentiments, I wish you all the luck, all the success, and keep
Thank
up the good
you.
work. Stay productive, stay safe, of course, and we shall be hearing from you guys very soon again with a new single and with a new album. And I have no doubt that is going to be happening sometime soon. So this has been Kaz for On the Spot 947. Till the next edition, we shall be on the lookout for the next artist that we shall be putting on the spot. Keep right here on All Hits. Melon 847. Sounds good. Bye, everybody.